Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Podcast English Learning, your warm and cozy corner for learning real English through real conversations. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're just starting out or already on your English journey, today's episode is going to be super helpful, and I promise it'll be fun too. I'm your host, and today we're talking about something very real and very useful. Something that shows up in so many parts of life. Let me start with a simple question. How many times have you heard this? Tell me about yourself. Yeah, that question. It's everywhere, isn't it? In job interviews, on the first day of class, when you meet a new neighbor or a coworker, even on a date. And let's be honest, this question can feel scary. You want to answer, but you're not sure how. You might know what you want to say, but you can't find the words in English. You freeze. You say, "My name is," and then you stop. Actually, this happened just yesterday at our office. A new teammate joined the company. He stood up and said, "I'm Lucas. I'm an engineer," and that was it. You could see he wanted to say more, but he looked nervous. He was stuck. We've all been there, right? Many people think self-introduction is just name plus job. But no, it's much more than that. When you introduce yourself, you're creating a first impression. And guess what? People remember first impressions. If you do it well, people think, "Wow, this person is confident and interesting." If you do it badly, they forget you. Or worse, think you have nothing to say. That's why this is not just a grammar lesson. This is a life skill. You use it at work, in class, while traveling, and when making new friends. So today we're going to break it down into 4 simple levels: B1, B2, C1, and C2. At each level, your English becomes smoother, more natural, and more confident. Are you ready to grow with us? Let's start with B1 English, the clear and simple way to introduce yourself. Let's begin with B1 English, the basic but powerful way to introduce yourself in English. At this level, your introduction should include just a few simple parts: your name, where you're from, what you do, and a couple of your hobbies. But here's a small tip that makes a big difference. For each thing you say, try to add one short reason. That's how your English starts to sound more natural, even at a basic level. Let's hear an example from Aaron. "Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm from London in the United Kingdom, and I work as a software engineer in the back-end team here in the United States. I joined this company last year, and I enjoy my job because I solve interesting problems every day. In my free time, I like running and reading books. Running helps me stay healthy, and reading makes me feel calm." Simple, right? Now here's Evan. "Hi, I'm Evan. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I work in the app development team here in the US. I've been with this company for 2 years. I like my job because I enjoy creating apps that people actually use. In my free time, I play guitar and watch football. Guitar makes me feel creative, and football is fun because I usually watch it with friends." Notice something important here? They didn't just list facts. They added short reasons like, "Running helps me stay healthy. Football is fun because I watch it with friends." That's the key. When you give reasons, your English becomes more human, more interesting, and more real. Also, don't stress about big words. At B1, it's okay to use simple connectors like in, because, but, and so. Those small words help your ideas flow smoothly. So to recap, B1 English is all about name, country, job, hobbies, plus one short reason for each. Easy, right? But very effective. Let's keep going. and see how we can grow this into B2 English. Now that we've covered B1 English, the clear and simple way to introduce yourself, let's take it one step further with B2 English. At this level, we're not just saying what we like or what we do. We're adding more depth. In B2 English, you talk about how often you do something, why you enjoy it, how it fits into your daily life, and you use more expressive language like prefer, enjoy, usually, often, sometimes, really. Let's see what that sounds like in action. Here's an example from Aaron. Hi again, I'm Aaron. I grew up in London, and now I work in the United States as a back-end software engineer. I usually start my day with a short run because it gives me energy for work. At the office, I mostly focus on problem solving, and I really enjoy finding solutions that improve our systems. In my free time, I often read novels and sometimes I spend hours at the library. Reading helps me relax and recharge after a busy day. You can hear the difference, right? Aaron's introduction feels richer and more personal than the B1 version. He didn't just list facts. He told us when he does things, how often, and why they matter to him. It's still simple, but more expressive, more human. Now let's listen to Evan. Hi again. I'm Evan. I come from Canada, and I'm currently part of the app development team here in the US. I've been with this company for 2 years and have worked on several interesting projects. In the mornings, I normally begin my day with a cup of coffee because it helps me concentrate before coding. Outside of work, I usually play guitar in the evenings, and I sometimes perform for friends, which I really enjoy. I also enjoy watching football on the weekends, especially when my favorite team is playing. It's always exciting and helps me forget about work stress. This is the magic of B2. When you add just a few more details, your English becomes natural, confident, and memorable. Here's the truth. It doesn't take much. You just need to connect your ideas and be a little more expressive. You're not just giving information, you're sharing a piece of yourself. That's what makes your English come alive. Now it's time to take your English to the next level. Welcome to C1 English. At this stage, it's no longer just about your job title or your hobbies. Now you're showing people who you really are. In C1 English, you begin to talk about your personality, share real-life experiences, use more natural idioms and advanced vocabulary, and tell short, meaningful stories. Let's hear an example from Aaron. Hi again. I'm Aaron. I was born and raised in London, but for the past year, I've been growing my career here in New York City as a back-end software engineer. I describe myself as detail-oriented and resilient because I enjoy focusing on small problems that make a big impact. For example, last year I led a major system upgrade that really pushed me out of my comfort zone, but it taught me how to stay calm under pressure. I'd also say I'm ambitious. I don't mind burning the midnight oil when project really excites me. See what she did there? Erin didn't just share facts. She told a mini story, used real examples, and added idioms that make her sound more fluent and natural. Now let's hear from Evan. Hi again. I'm Evan. I was born in Canada, but for the past 2 years, I've been developing my career in New York City as part of the app development team. I'd say I'm creative and adaptable. For instance, once I had to fix a major bug just hours before a client demo. It wasn't my first rodeo, so instead of panicking, I stayed calm and solved the issue just in time. I enjoy challenges like that because they show I can think on my feet. I also believe in teamwork, so I try to support my teammates, especially when deadlines get tough. This is what C1 is all about. You're sharing your personality, not just your profile. You're telling a story that people will remember. So here's your challenge. Think of one real experience from your life. Add one or two idioms. Describe how you felt and show who you are. That's the heart of C1 English. Now we've reached the final level, the top of the mountain. Welcome to C2 English, where you don't just sound fluent. You sound impressive, memorable, and uniquely you. At this level, your self-introduction becomes a story, not just a list of facts. You're not only telling people who you are, but also where you're headed, what drives you, what makes you smile, and what makes you unforgettable. Let's hear how Aaron does it. Hi again. I'm Aaron, originally from London. I've been working in New York City for several years now as a back-end software engineer. During that time, I've spearheaded multiple projects that improved our systems, and those experiences helped shape me into a better leader and problem solver. Looking ahead, I hope to move into an architect role. I've even started writing articles on software design to share what I'm learning. And here's a fun fact. I once built a program that calculates the best time of day for my coffee breaks. And yes, I still use it. What makes this great? Erin shows where she's been, what she's doing, and where she wants to go. Plus, the coffee fact, it's personal, funny, and makes her easy to remember. Now it's Evan's turn. Hi again. I'm Evan, originally from Canada. For the past 2 years, I've been growing my career here in New York City as part of the app development team. I've taken the lead on several cutting-edge projects, and I really thrive when I need to think on my feet. My long-term goal is to launch my own tech startup. I want to create tools that genuinely make people's lives easier. Outside of work, I wear many hats. I'm an amateur guitarist, a weekend traveler, and a football fan, although my team loses more than I'd like. But hey, I guess that builds character. See what he did there? He balanced professional goals, personality, and even a little humor. That's the power of C2 English. You're not just speaking, you're connecting. So at this level, remember, tell a story, show your vision, and let your personality shine. Because that's how people remember you. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We've seen how a simple self-introduction can grow, from basic and clear at B1 to fluent and memorable at C2. No matter where you are right now, the key is the same. Add a little detail, give a reason, share something real about yourself. It's not about sounding perfect. It's about making a real connection. So here's your challenge. Practice your self-introduction this week. Say it in front of the mirror. Try it with a friend or even record yourself. The more you speak, the more natural you'll sound. And the more you show who you are, the more people will want to listen. Thanks for learning with us here at Podcast English Learning. Keep learning, keep speaking, and above all, keep growing. We'll see you in the next episode or the next video right below.